Okay, welcome back. This is Protail Dev. This time we're going to be looking at day and night cycle. I mentioned it at the end of the last video, and this is kind of the second part of that, all the different updates I did during Christmas. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I'm first going to demonstrate what's going on, and I did talk about it, like I think two episodes ago, where I would look at post-processing. I did try it, and I really didn't like the look of it. I didn't think it looked very good on this type of game, especially when it's a top-down view, when it's in the daytime most of the time, and it just looked weird. Instead of going for that type of lighting, I went for something a bit more 2D, which you're seeing, and for the night cycle, I made it so that basically around the turtle there's a mask, masking another sprite, which is a dark blue sprite, to make it look like everything's going dark. I've seen other games do something similar, but I just kind of figured that this might be the easiest solution. I really like the theme of it. I like the idea of it, and I kind of like. I think it suits. So as you can see on the top left, I do have a time counter, a day counter, and the biome. This is just to help the player know what time it is, kind of when they should get ready to stake out the night. And obviously at night time it's much more risky because it's harder to see the sharks and the enemies. And it's obviously much harder to see any fish, so the only thing you can really go for at night is the jellyfish and the squid, which are much more obvious because they give off a light just like the turtle is. So as you can see, it's getting really dark now. I do have the time sped up, which I'm thinking of keeping it that way. Just for the sake of demonstration, the time was set to almost 6 o'clock, which is when it starts to turn dark. Usually the game would start off probably midday, maybe even just in the morning. So just after 6, after the night cycle is gone, so 6 in the morning. Just to give the player a bit more time in the day to get their food. But the idea is that over night time it would be very, very difficult to get your food. And so what you'd have to do is store up some of it in your stock. Since you can only have 5, it can be difficult. So you might want to hunt for more things. Just as this night's going on, we're going to do a little bit of exploring, see if we can see any jellyfish. But I'll probably die from sharks. As you can see now, the sorting is correctly ordered. So now that when the player goes in the water, they do actually go underneath the water. It looked a bit weird before, but now it's the same for all the fish, and it makes it look a lot better. Sharks, as you can see at night time, it's very difficult to see the sharks, but you can just about see them. Currently, I still have the armor as system similar to how Scrooge is done. Uh oh, I'm dead. Which is, it continues to break. When they bite you, it will continue to break until it's completely broken. Once there's no armor left on you, and it's fully broken, you will be completely vulnerable to being bit, and as you just saw, I'll die really quick. Oh, we can see some squid now, of course. I've made it so that the different species will go for it to try and huddle together, and they'll seek out each other, and specifically go to a specific point where they'll meet up and then go around. It looks really cool when they do all meet, but as you can see, they'll just spread around. It looks really cool at night time, seeing all these jellyfish and even the squid in the other biome. So there are lots of different sharks. Again, I've done a bit of balancing to make it so that they're much more difficult, because before it was quite easy. I think it might be a little bit too difficult now. I actually see they'll slowly group up, and eventually you'll get a huge group of jellyfish moving around. It looks really cool trying to grab them all later, and they'll end up pushing you towards certain fish that you may not be able to go towards. As you can see, they're giving off a light, and the squid is the same. So if I just quickly go into scene and head to the ocean, you can kind of see where the squid are. They're in a group here, going around. They're much quicker and will run away from the player much easier. Oh, once it gets, like I said, once it gets to 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll start. It should be fully daytime. It'll slowly turn from 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock, and it'll slowly turn the tint of this sprite. It'll slowly make it more transparent, so it'll change the alpha, which is how I'm doing it. I think the full length of a day I worked it out was something along the lines of about 12 minutes. I may change that, but for now I kind of like the quick speed of the day and night cycle. It's a good change, and it isn't too slow that night is unbearable, essentially. Moving on, so like I said, I've implemented the jellyfish and the squid, and that's all of the food now in. I do like them as well because they are quicker, but the jellyfish are more slower than the squid. But they're just about the same speed as you are now, so you can't catch them. Same as some of the fish, you can't catch them. Really, right now, when you start, you can only really eat seagrass if you find it, though it's rare in this biome now. And crab. Crab is quite easy to get because it doesn't move, and it's on every island pretty much. There's a high chance that there'll be a crab there ready for you to eat. As you get some speed upgrades, you'll be able to get faster and faster prey, and with the final speed upgrade, you should be able to get the squid, though it's the fastest, as well as the purple fish, which is the same speed as the squid. They're both worth quite a lot as well, but you'll need those 3 upgrades if you're going to get them. So as you can tell, I've done a bit more balancing on different things. Let me just turn that off and quickly head over to the biome over here, and then I'll press play so you can see what it looks like. As you can see, I've got a bit of lore there. Let's go here. So this is the biome, and you can see our purple fish, much bigger, and they will give quite a lot. They're way faster now, and they'll huddle. I could have multiple wanders, but I think it looks really cool when the player does find them, and because they're so quick anyway, they just move off, and it makes it a little bit more unpredictable since they're going around in this random area. So as you can see, I got rid of the whales that were in here as well, and added much more smaller fish. So there's tons of small sharks, not really that many big sharks, but tons of small sharks that will absolutely kill you, and they're the fastest but do the least amount of damage to your health, so you can get away with it. Again, needs to be a bit more balancing, but I've tried my best to do what I can with the little time I have. You'll also see a lot of seagrass in this area. There's tons of seagrass spawning. This is basically the seagrass zone, which makes sense since it's all coral reef, and again, these fish. Next thing to show you, of course, would be the spawns for the squid, which are over here. This is the zone with all the whales, and you will need to head here to get the lore. I believe there's 2 pieces of lore in this area. Oh, yep, there's one. Oh my god. As you can see, whoa, these are the fish, which are very, very quick. I'm probably going to change them, otherwise in this biome you'll probably starve to death since there isn't many islands. But this is kind of an area where you might have to hold up a lot of your storage and a lot of your food in order to go in. This is, of course, the deep ocean. So now, as you can see, we're in the coral reef. There's a bunch of plants, but a lot of the fish is very difficult to get. You'll pretty much encounter the seagrass, which will help guarantee you survive. But if you die, you're going to end up going all the way back to the... So as you can see, when you get on an island, it does stop the bar. It's supposed to stop the bar. Sometimes it doesn't. And if you wait long enough, it will regenerate your armor. So it's not immediate death if you go on to, if you run out. Let's see if I can get it here. Run out a couple, and then as you go on here, I'm not going to wait, but I think it's set to about 10 seconds to 15 seconds, something like that. But you can already see it's already regenerated. So as you can see, it's regenerated, so it must be lower than that. I can't remember, it was a while ago I said it, but if you wait on the island long enough, it regenerates. Oh, it's much less. It's something like maybe, okay, you get 1 for free. I forgot, you get 1 for free, and then it regenerates after about 10 seconds. That was it. So you can survive if you go on islands. Obviously the deep sea is a much more challenging place, so you're going to need that break to be slower, which is the last upgrade. So as you can see, we're in the biome coral reef, and then we come to our last biome. Again, I haven't really, the coral area was the second last biome I worked on. Recently, I only finished this area very, very recently. I added a few little tinting areas, and the water's tinting is changed with the lighting, and a lot of I've done a lot of balancing really for this game. As you can see, I've still got a lot of collision issues going on, but this is basically the area. Right, with the current canyon shown, that's most of the biomes demonstrated, and the only other things that I can really explain is that I've added timed respawn and respawn objects. So when you pick up a specific food, it'll respawn somewhere else in the area. This guarantees obviously that food is continuous. That is, I think, everything. Obviously there's some minor fixes that need to be changed. Obviously the biome needs to be fixed because there's unwanted collisions. But apart from that, I'm close to now finishing this game off, this project off, and then moving on to other projects. Probably that are much smaller, but have quite a bit of fun tied to them. So I'll enjoy that. Right, next time, what we're going to do is we're going to probably look at the menu, get Scrooge implemented properly, maybe have a quick look at saving different things, and then we'll have, when you die, we'll make it so that the player loses stuff in the resource bar, maybe even all of it in the resource bar. And the only way to save in the game would be to be in this island, maybe have a specific item where they can save and load from here. But apart from that, most of the game is finished. Oh, one other minor change that I didn't mention in the last video was that the UI, I decided to change the health shield and hunger bar and put them on the right instead of having them in the center. Anyway, that'll be it for me. I'll see you next time.